Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for a scary one? This time we're diving into The Conjuring. You guys know it, that modern horror classic.
And it's become a classic for good reason, right? What gets me about The Conjuring is how it takes a classic horror setting, like that creepy old farmhouse,
Oh, totally.
and then just weaves in the real-life history of these paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, and the movie doesn't waste any time getting right into it. The Perron family moves into this old farmhouse, we're talking Rhode Island, and bam, things get weird fast. Dead dog?
Oh, yeah. Mysterious bruises. Yep, those two. Classic haunted house vibes, right?
Totally. But then they bring in that game of hide and clap that the daughters are playing.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's where The Conjuring really gets in your head,
It starts to feel real.
Right? It's like that seemingly innocent detail. It creates this atmosphere of dread, this constant feeling of being watched, like something's lurking just out of sight.
Totally. And the sound design. Don't even get me started. Oh, tell me about it. James Wan, the director, he is a master at using sound, or even the absence of sound. Like that silence just amplifies every little creak and groan in that house.
So good. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time.
The whole time you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly. And just when you think it can't get any creepier, boom,
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine Warren show up. But hold on. These aren't your average, ghost hunting wannabes, are they?
No, not at all. These were real deal paranormal investigators, famous for cases like the Amityville Horror. Like, their work was everywhere.
And the movie uses that, right?
Right.
It uses their reputation to make everything that much creepier.
Oh, yeah. They don't shy away from it at all. We see them breaking out the cameras, doing interviews, even going straight to the Catholic Church for an exorcism.
And
And it's that grounding in something that feels real, that just makes all the supernatural elements hit so much harder.
yeah. And then there's that whole backstory they weave in about Bathsheba,
Mm.
the witch who cursed the land. I mean,
Okay,
come
yeah.
on, chilling. But is any of that, actually based on history?
Right. It's such a creepy story, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it so effective. They've taken inspiration from a real person, Bathsheba Sherman, who lived in Rhode Island in the 19th century.
Get it out.
Seriously. So there's this historical basis, right? But how much of the story is true? Was she really a witch? Who knows? But that ambiguity, it's terrifying.
It really adds to the whole, unsettling feeling of the movie.
Oh, for sure. It makes you wonder, how much of what you're seeing is rooted in something real and how much is just, legend. But speaking of unsettling, that scene in the cellar
Don't even.
with Lorraine surrounded by all those shadowy figures, Bathsheba's victims, pure nightmare fuel.
I was literally hiding behind my pillow.
Yeah.
Seriously. But you know what really got me? Carolyn's possession.
Oh, intense, right?
It was so real.
Mm-hmm.
So disturbing.
Lily Taylor's performance in that scene is just...
Oh my gosh, phenomenal.
She is phenomenal. She's not just possessed. You can feel the fear in her performance, the desperation. She's fighting for her family,
Totally.
for her very soul.
For her sanity. It's like that maternal instinct kicking in,
Mm-hmm.
but it's being twisted by something dark and powerful.
It's heartbreaking almost to watch her go through that.
And you can't talk about The Conjuring without talking about James Wan, right?
Mm.
The director.
Oh, he's a master of horror, for sure.
The guy just knows how to create a genuinely unsettling atmosphere. You feel the dread in every scene.
It's true. And the thing about Juan is he doesn't need to rely on those cheap jump scares.
No, he's all about the slow burn.
Exactly. It's all atmosphere and suspense. He uses those classic horror techniques like shadows, mirrors, things moving just off screen.
You know something's coming, but you just don't know when or what.
Exactly. He lets your imagination run wild, which, let's be honest, is way scarier than anything he could actually show you on screen.
100%. And that ending.
Yeah.
With the music box, don't even get me started. Talk about chills.
Oh, man. That final shot is genius. It brings us right back to the Warrens collection, right? All those haunted objects.
And you just know that each one has a story, just as terrifying as the one we just witnessed.
Exactly. It's that tangible reminder that this work they do, it's real and it's terrifying. It's also a reminder that some evils, you might contain them, but they're never truly gone.
Okay, so we've talked about the creepy farmhouse, the Warrens, Bathsheba, the possession. But you know what else really gets me about The Conjuring?
What's that?
It's not just a horror movie. It's also a story about family.
Absolutely. You really see that with the parents, right? Their love for each other, it's what helps them get through this whole terrifying experience.
Totally. Especially Carolyn. I mean, she's possessed,
Mhm.
but she's still fighting. Like, she would do anything to protect her kids. Anything.
Oh, yeah, that comes through so strongly. You see that maternal instinct, but it's being twisted, you know?
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, but it's also incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And the Warrens, too. I mean, they're putting themselves in danger, right, to help this family they barely know.
Yeah, that's it, right. They see a family that's hurting, that's scared, and they jump in, no questions asked.
Because at the end of the day, they're good people.
Exactly. They're good people, and they believe in helping others, and that's what makes The Conjuring so effective. Yeah, it's tapping into those primal fears, the things that go bump in the night, the unknown, but it's also grounded in these really relatable themes like the strength of family and the lengths we'll go to protect the ones we love.
Makes you think, right? Like,
Uh.
how would I react if I was in that situation?
Wow.
Would I have the guts to face down, I don't know, a demonic witch to save my family?
Right. It's like those what would you do scenarios, but cranked up to 11. And that's the power of good horror, isn't it? It makes you confront those uncomfortable truths about yourself, about the world.
For sure. And speaking of confronting uncomfortable truths, we're going to talk about the acting for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've talked about Lily Taylor, who was amazing as Carolyn, but Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Yeah. So good.
they're phenomenal. They bring this real warmth to those characters, this genuine compassion, which honestly makes it that much scarier when they encounter something truly evil.
Absolutely. Because you believe them. You believe in their love for each other, their faith, and that just makes the stakes feel so much higher.
100%.
Yeah.
They draw you in, make you care, and then bam, they unleash the terror.
Yeah.
So, okay, for someone out there who hasn't seen The Conjuring, and I know you're out there, what would you say to convince them to watch it?
I'd tell them to buckle up because The Conjuring is a masterclass in suspense. It's terrifying, sure, but it's also a really well-made film with incredible acting and a story that will stay with you long after the credits roll.
It's an experience.
It really is.
And if you're into true crime or like the paranormal, it's even creepier when you realize that some of this stuff is based on real events, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like the real-life Warrens, they had this whole fascinating and, yeah, kind of terrifying career investigating the paranormal. Their case files, they inspired a ton of movies.
Talk about a rabbit hole.
Seriously. But we'll save that for another deep dive.
Okay, deep divers. I think we've just about scratched the surface of this creepy classic. The Conjuring, everyone. A modern horror masterpiece.
One that'll leave you sleeping with the lights on.
Oh, for sure. If you enjoyed this terrifying trip into The Conjuring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the movies you love. Or maybe the ones that keep you up at night. Until next time, deep divers, sweet dreams.